Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so this is going to be war number 8 in season 36. So it's war number 8 out of 9, so only one war left after this, and this time around I actually get to bring in Quake and use Quake in a war. It's been quite a while since I got to do that. I'm also bringing in Magneto House of X and Pryde. Now, unfortunately, I did lose last two of my fights, which were quite interesting. So I will try my best to walk you guys through what happened in those fights and how I approached the fights themselves, what strategy I used, what opponents were there, so on and so forth. And yeah, so let's get to it. Unfortunately, as always, yeah, the messiest fights got recorded. The ones that I did the best somehow, unfortunately, got erased. Either way, we are going up against DSVG, so obviously a very good, very stable, kind of like top-tier level alliance that has been in this game forever, so nothing and nobody here can and should be underestimated. And I'm starting out on path 7 against Wong. Now, Wong is actually a defender that I'm not particularly fond of, because he did KO me previously, and when he throws his, I think it is a regen mechanic, so the second spell in his arsenal, every time opponent gains a buff, he goes passively unstoppable, and that can be quite annoying to deal with, and he's actually going to catch me, I think, with that here as well. So I will boost up for this, obviously, as I always do. I will try to minimize my item use, as I have been this entire season. Basically, I have hardly used any potions. I think a couple in that one war where I happened to die a bit, but we're not going to talk about that one. And for, I think, about 5 out of 8 wars, I didn't use any items to do with loyalty, or 6 out of 8. So I'm quite happy with that. But here I'm using Magneto House of X pre-fight because we have Conflictor here. And with that, we're able to bypass Conflictor and significantly mitigate his power gain, which is kind of like the entire point. Also, aside from the parry stun, Kitty will not place any debuffs on Wong, so basically you can completely ignore the Conflictor. But here, once he has started dropping these spells, it kind of gets harder. I was all the time trying and hoping he's going to get level 2 and use that, so I can dash in, phase through most of it, and deal significant amount of damage to him. But unfortunately, he kind of often threw his level 1. And here we can see that he goes unstoppable, and he does catch me a bit here, but it's not the end of the world. I did make that mistake, but I'm going to be finishing this fight out with a level 3. So, with Kitty, it's a fairly straightforward fight. Definitely, in my opinion, quite a tricky placement. And Wong in Alliance War is quite an annoying defender, in my personal experience, truth be told. Right. Now up to the next fight, and Longshot here is again somebody that gets placed frequently often, and it is somewhat of a bothersome fight, because Longshot is Mystic Champion. Every time you dex, you can trigger Mystic Dispersion, obviously, and on top of it, it's Vivified, where he has significantly increased combat power rate, and to top it all off, he has his bad karma mechanic, where every time I gain power, he gains percentage of that power as well. So this definitely is a very dangerous fight. And we can see that he actually does get to level 3 as well in this fight. Now, thanks to Magneto House of X pre-fight, it's easier for me to build prowess, which is awesome. And additionally to all of that, his level 1 can't miss, but that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, because if he does throw his level 1 whilst we're phasing, we're not taking any damage, we gain power, and everything kind of works out. You do need to watch out for brute force. I think it's called brute force, so I can't spend too much time baiting out special attacks, or it's going to end up bad for me. But again, whilst I'm phasing, I don't need to really worry about that damage if I manage to get my phases in. So here we can see that he has 2.5 bars of power, and I'm trying to get out at level 2, but and he finally throws it, so I dash in, make him phase, make him miss. I didn't want to throw my special attacks in this fight as well, because I want to be able to phase at any given time, all the time. Here we can see that brute force is sticking away at me, so I'm dashing in, but he also managed to get the 3 bars of power there, which is completely awesome. As soon as I saw that he has 3 bars of power, I made sure that I'm phasing, and I threw my level 3, so I get that longer phase, and I have better chance to phase his level 3, which is exactly what is happening right now. And also, because I was phased during his level 3, I will not be stunned after level 3, which is always the biggest problem with Longshot's level 3. And now he's just dead. So it wasn't a super clean fight, but it worked out just fine. And now the Quake Fight, which is this Mephisto. This Mephisto here is quite popular rank up now. On the Footloose with Conduit, Mephisto is a Conduit defender. Force of Will node as well there. But obviously Quake basically kind of ignores all of it, and she has no need to knock the opponents down. Which again means that you can completely bypass Conduit. Now, unfortunately, we'll make one small slip up there, where I do knock down Mephisto right now, and that triggers that shock, and that triggers his regeneration. But in reality, there is no real actual downside to that, aside from the fact that I just extended this fight by another, 15 seconds or something. As long as I don't make any more mistakes, it's fine. And it is important that I do not let him touch me at all, even on the block, because of kinetic reactor node or kinetic transference node, however it is called. Because if I do end up parrying him, he's going to be gaining power. So there's still quite a bit of ways for me to screw up, even if I don't necessarily get hit in the face directly. If I drop my heavy attack, that will force precision to expire and trigger his Mystic Dispersion, and he's likely going to get to a level 1 very easily. If I block or parry his hits, we can see that happen in a second here. He's going to gain a power as well, so that's going to give me less and less room to work with. But as long as I keep kind of like the fight strict and stable, we're going to be fine. Here, I did take that one hit in the parry. It does look like I pretty much do not have any other room for errors. Otherwise, I will end up eating the level 1 of Mephisto. And let's be clear, I don't think that level 1 would kill me at all. But it would cause, health loss and all that other negative connotations there. And that is unfortunately where this recording stopped, because I went to double check my assignment for section 2 and the strategies that I was meant to use. But here you can see that on path 5, I do have Gladiator Hulk, and that is the Sadist Ebb and Flow Intercept node. And then I have Rintra. And Rintra is actually kind of like the scariest opponent there with the Mighty Charge and everything else. I do have White Magneto pre-fight for Rintra fight, and that made it easier to deal with Mighty Charge. And it also makes it easier for Kitty to ramp up her prowess, because if you stun with a passive stun, she gains 2 prowess instead of 1. As we can see, Immortal Hulk is a Conduit defender. So the strategy against Immortal Hulk was just super easy. I didn't throw a single special attack. I didn't throw a single heavy attack. I basically do nothing but parry stun, build up some prowess, and go and intercept. I never used any special attacks, and I just intercepted him as much as possible. Obviously with Kitty, intercepting is quite easy. Now, even though I do not have Tiger Synergy with me, and I never have the chance to be fully unblockable, still, it wasn't too hard for most part. Because even if he ended up blocking, you can just stand there for a bit and phase a hit if you want. When he throws special attacks, again, you can let them go through your phase and then punish the special attacks. And it wasn't the quickest fight. It did take considerable amount of time, especially because Immortal Hulk also triggered his immortality mechanic and went unblockable himself. But aside from few hits on the block, I didn't get hit directly in the face, and I was just playing it fairly cautiously with like 2-3 hit combos all the time, making sure that I do have that 60% fury from Ebb and Flow Intercept, so that helped me with the damage output as well. But obviously Immortal Hulk's health pool is quite big, so the fight did last for a while, but it was fairly safe. And the fight that I was most worried about was against Rintra, because I had never taken Rintra in Alliance, to be honest. But with Magneto House Specs pre-fight, it let me build up my prowess quite quickly. And in this fight, since Rintra is not Conduit Defender, what I did is I also heavied fairly frequently. Because if you did not know how to fight Rintra, then the base idea is you need to watch out for his mystical energy. And you do not want to trigger dexterity if possible at all. But the key thing is to kind of keep knocking him down frequently. Because he goes stun immune, and he gets that special attack unstoppable, and he gets more annoying abilities the more mystical energy he has. However, every time you knock him down, you remove 5 mystical energies. In that fight, I had to throw about 2 level 2s, which wasn't too bad at all, especially because on the first level 2 I managed to phase several hits of his level 1, so that gave me quite a bunch of extra prowess, and after the first level 2, he was already more than halfway down, and then the second level 2 finished it off. But again, I obviously got my intercepts in order to get rid of ebb and flow intercept node. Then I kept kind of like parry having him ever so often as well. Dropped my special attacks when I made sure he has very low mystical energy, and 2 special attacks was all that was needed. And that was it for my contribution in this war. Last I checked, this war is currently still going on, but we are ahead of exploration, and we are ahead of deaths as well. We died 7 times, DSVG died 10 times, so we have 3 death leeway, so it is quite likely that we are going to take the W here. Last I checked the leaderboard, we were at the very bottom of the Masters, so we made our way back to the Masters bracket, since our leadership decided that we do want to finish in Masters. And it is unlikely that we're going to get to top 10 Masters, but, you know, who knows? We'll see. But even that, you know, finishing Masters, I suppose fair enough. Again, it's not like it matters this season much at all. There's no real difference in terms of rank 4 materials in any meaningful capacity, so I'm personally not overly fast, but hey, finishing Masters is better than not finishing Masters, obviously. And that leaves us with 1 war remaining in this season, and I'm super happy that the off-season is going to start basically as Battlegrounds are starting off and as Act 8.1 comes out, because I obviously will be going live as soon as Battlegrounds go live. I will be exploring Act 8 within the couple of days of it coming out, and I'll be doing all of it live, so make sure not to miss any of that. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the good buttons, and I will catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the